Welcome to Daily Sama. This is Dr. Shalini Bahl. Many of us are feeling overwhelm and grief and fear with the state of affairs in our world. And I had the privilege and luxury of being able to attend a retreat and realized how important this practice is, especially for these times when we're feeling overwhelmed, and the tendency can be to just shut down or react on what we're feeling. And this is where today's practice and mindfulness skill of curiosity can be really beneficial. And I was thinking of the different aspects of mindful curiosity. And especially in mindfulness, we're not just talking about the cognitive aspects of thinking, being able to think and ask questions, but there is an embodied aspect to our practice of curiosity. And while we can train ourselves to keep our hearts open and our minds open, and this is possible perhaps in more non-critical situations. So in our day-to-day life, we can definitely practice with love the unsolved questions in your heart. And this is the practice I did during the retreat, where I came in with a lot of questions. What does it mean to show up as a human being, as a mindful practitioner, as a skillful person, as a person taken a bodhisattva vow to ease suffering in the world? So in with all of these different questions, there was there were I don't know if I got a straight answer for any of those questions. However, being able to practice with other people in community, to be in nature and mindful walking and holding these questions, not too tightly, but um, was really helpful. It was helpful in returning to that inner knowing that we have. So when we let go of the rigidity um, and tightness and the emotional, the anger and the grief and all of those emotions, when we learn to approach them and make some more space around them, we can find our way back to our inner knowing. And all of this requires practice. It requires trusting that we do have an inner knowing. And that's what I experienced by the end of the 3-day retreat, or 1.5, or whatever you want to call it. Started on Friday, ended on Sunday. Just a very short retreat. Was that towards the end, I found myself just meeting people, having these conversations that really allowed me to feel that I am being guided. So it's about holding that intention of living skillfully, mindfully in this world, and doing the practice that really helped. So I do encourage us, and we're going to do a deeper dive on Wednesday in the longer Sama Life Circles. But for now, I thought we would practice with emotions are my friends, as it is hard to hold that state of open mind and heart when there are strong emotions that we are experiencing, and for very rightful reasons. So I'll read the card first, and then we can practice together with whatever your experience is. Our emotions are there for a reason, to help us safely navigate changes in our inner and outer environments. Return to the body and breathe fully to make space for whatever you're feeling. Treat your emotions like guests. Welcome them all. What thoughts and needs are underlying your emotions? Take one action to attend to these needs. So if you like, you can bring a paper or journal and a writing instrument, because we're going to do some journaling. I find that doing free flow journaling can be sometimes helpful with when there's too much going on in our hearts and minds. And so please bring a journal or a pen that you can write with, and we will do this practice together. Again, the practice we're going to do is emotions are my friends, and this is a curiosity practice directed towards what we're feeling and building that capacity to open our hearts and minds and be with the discomfort of what we're feeling instead of just shutting down or reacting. So let's just begin by coming to a comfortable posture. And if it's helpful, just placing your hand on the region of your chest, taking a few deep breaths to arrive. Just inviting your mind to settle down with this breath, moving itself in a way it wants to. If it wants to be deep, let it be deep. If it wants to be shallow, let it be shallow. Just returning to this present moment experience of the breath moving in and out of your body. Just for these few moments, letting go of the situation we are in or any of the emotions we're feeling. We're not pushing them away, we're just letting them be in the background while we give our full care and attention to this breath and your direct experience of this breath. So, really feeling the breath as it enters your body, feeling the space it creates in your chest, in your belly, the slight pause before that in breath turns to out breath, and the exhale, the letting go, the release, till that out breath fully leaves your body. And resting in that pause, that space before a new breath enters the body. And every time your mind wanders away, just inviting it back to this awareness of the breath. Even as you breathe, you can start to notice the places where the breath feels a little constricted. Maybe you're holding some tension in your belly. So, softening your belly as much as you can, allowing that breath to go a little deeper without forcing, and resting in that release as you exhale. It is this direct, embodied experience of your present moment, object of attention, which could be your body, your breath, that creates the anchor and the foundation for stability, for clarity. And once you feel your mind is stabilized, then we can listen within to what are the emotions that are present right now for you. So if you're just joining us, we're practicing mindful curiosity of emotions. So taking a few moments to arrive, to breathe, to find your anchor to the here and now. And when you feel ready, checking in with the emotions, bringing that open mind and heart to what is present for you today. Whether it's grief or overwhelm or fear, anger, maybe all of the above. Just seeing if it can create more space around these emotions and without needing to fix them or respond to them. We're just taking this time to listen within, to come closer to our emotions, to meet what is present. Might be confusion, overwhelm, fear, whatever is there, and just listening within without, again, judging yourself, with just that mindful curiosity, that friendly, open mind and heart directed towards your embodied experience of what's alive for you, what's present for you right now. And if it's helpful, we can, instead of just staying in the mind, sometimes the mind can go in loops. So it's helpful to just find something to write on, and we can do some freestyle writing of whatever thoughts are present for you. That I don't know what to do. I am so angry. I am afraid. Like, whatever are the thoughts that are underlying your emotions, just making a note, starting to write them, and knowing this is just for you. So you don't have to edit yourself. You can be completely honest, and you can totally tear that piece of paper afterwards. But just for a few moments, we're going to just write down whatever is alive for you. So I am starting with I am. So allowing yourself to flow with what is there, whether it's tears, whether it's sadness, whether it's peace. If you can feel peace at this time and touch that, acknowledge that as well. And if you like, just taking a few moments to maybe read what you've written, if there is a repetition of or certain patterns of how you're feeling, or there's a pattern in how you respond to difficult times, looking for words that are repeating themselves, just seeing if there's any insight in the words that you've brought to the surface. Based based on your practice today, if there were any insights that showed up for you, were you able to see what what is alive for you and making room for that with mindful curiosity? And it's also helpful to return to your intentions for how you want to show up for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community. And the intentions can also help give direction to what we can do with what we're feeling. So, some of the things that can come up at this time is seeing the expectation we are putting on ourselves to have the answers or show up in a particular way. And part of this practice is to start trusting that inner knowing, trusting the intentions, your own goodness, and this practice. That when we show up with intentions and practice, we will be guided to what we can do. And it's about not shutting down, not closing down in difficult times. Like if you don't have an answer, it can feel like maybe I don't play any role in this, so I can just go back to my life or ignore it. And part of the practice, of course, depending on the resources we have, sometimes we are so depleted that we actually do need to walk away and take care of ourselves and resource ourselves. Like I shared, I went for a weekend retreat and that I went with a lot of questions and anger and grief and uncertainty. And I felt resourced. I felt just having that time in nature to practice, to stay with these questions, hold these questions, really helped to resource myself so that I can now return back to my day and my work and show up with integrity, with intention. So, just seeing what is coming up for you when you turn towards your own emotions and what are the expectations you're putting on yourself. Um, and when we let go of those layers of expectations, layers of judgments, and everything else, and really create that space in our hearts to hold whatever is there, we are guided. We know what the next step is. And sometimes that step may not be immediately clear, but I found even in the retreat itself, I could see that play out that while I didn't know what the exact steps were, I was ending up meeting people, having conversations that really helped reaffirm what I was going through, what I was feeling. And so just when we trust, we will be guided to the people, to the actions you can take to create more peaceful conditions in this world, to not add to the anger that is dividing us, that is polarizing us, to still show up with compassion. As Thich Nhat Hanh, the teacher, taught us, that even the people who are causing suffering are suffering. So even though it may be hard, let's not create more polarization or anger that is already there. So with all these practices, we can help gain more clarity about the cause and conditions for situations to arrive and just small steps that we can take. I know that whether it's in your own families or in your communities, In the work that you do, there are so many opportunities. We may not solve the big world's problems, but in these small ways that we are showing up, we are making a difference. So trust yourself, and I thank you for your practice. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them, and I believe there's a place to write a message below. And we will be doing a deeper dive on mindful curiosity, what it is, what it is not, what are the nuances of how do we practice in a very embodied way. This will be the topic for the next Sama Life Circle on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We meet on Zoom, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. There's also a recording. So if you'd like to join that, please send me a message if you're able to support the Sama Life Circles. You can join by just on a monthly basis, or you can send me an email. I do like to make it available to everyone, so pay what you can model um, as a donation. So whatever works for you, but if you are interested in really honing in and cultivating this capacity for curiosity, learn some practices and do this in community, it can be really powerful to sort of relearn this capacity that we already have to live with that sense of awe and wonder and that right understanding of how this world works. There's all this beauty and joy, and there is harm and destruction. And how do we make sense of all of this? So, thank you again for your practice today, and may our practice benefit us and may it benefit all beings. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Until then, stay Sama.